Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Local Pundit. I'm Josh Anthony. This is your Wrexham reaction for FA Cup Round 2, Wrexham AFC 3, Yeovil Town 0. That's right, big fat 0. Same scoreline as last year in the penultimate game when we sent them down a league and we went on to win the title. But today, professional win, as you can see, that sets up a cross-border derby next with Shrewsberry Town. That information came out before the game, so you can see that one eye could be on the game coming up. That game's going to be in January, but we had to focus on today, and we did our job. We did a professional job. We had goals from Ollie Palmer, Andy Cannon, and Sam Dalby with a nice chip in the 93rd minute I think it was the 93rd minute to send us through. So set them up for Tuesday night when we're going to go against Burton Albion, which we'll talk about. But yeah, it was a great professional win today. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it a little bit. As I mentioned, cross-border derby is set up with Shrewsberry Town on January 5th through the 7th. So we have a game with NK Dons that is scheduled. So that's going to have to be moved. We're going to figure out what that looks like. But that's on January 5th through the 7th. So that is the next match against Shrewsbury Town that's going to come up in round 3. Now, everyone had mentioned, yeah, we want to get a big gun. We want to get an Arsenal or a Manchester United or a City or somebody like that. But, this is good. We can go on a little bit of a cup run if we get through that next round and maybe get a home game after that. This is an away match against Shrewsbury Town. So that said, it is what it is. We're still going through. We're still in the competitions, which is great. So let's talk about Yeovil Town. Parkinson had mentioned this in his presser. We're going to talk about what he had said and kind of dissect it a little bit. Yeovil Town had strong character and they never gave in. True enough. And I thought they played really well at times. I thought their best player on the pitch was Jordan Young. I thought he had a great free kick. It hit the crossbar, and Noble gave some problems up front as well. But to be fair, they sat back. And that's what they did. They sat back. They had a low block, which caused us to go and try to make some insightful passes. The Evans played really well. Lee played well, and Andy Cannon played well. And we had obviously the guys on the wings, Mendy and McLean doing their bits as well, getting good crosses. And McLean had great crosses in. So that said, I want to point out that I'm going to do the hindsight. I'm going to do the hindsight man of the match. And this is crap. I'm going to say it anyways. Hindsight man of the match for me is George Evans. I gave it to Lee during the match because he had a yellow card and he was able to stay on the pitch for a longer period of time and still be very effective in the game. Great passing, insightful. But I'm going to give it to Gorgeous George. Gorgeous George Evans, number 12, I think is the player of the season. And I think he's fantastic. He's got great physical presence on the ball, great passing on ability. Hayden went out. Here's why. Hayden went out with an injury. Don't know how serious the injury is, but he was playing in midfield. George was, and he came back in and covered the back line next to Tozer. So for me, in hindsight, I'm going to say it. Hindsight, I think George Evans was the man of the match. And I will say, I'm giving the guys hot take. Mark Griffiths and the guys, they also agree with George Evans as well. Maybe I'm going a little bit biased there, but it just kind of prompted me to say, shit, maybe he is playing that well. And he is my favorite player on the team. And I'm going to give my man of the match to Gorgeous George. Go, Joe. Go, Joe. Here we go. Yeah, go, Joe. Okay. Going back to the game. Yes, they did sit back. Yeovil Town did sit back. They moved the ball well. We had to find our spaces, and credit to the team, we were probing. And so it was really hard to create chances. And our chance did come when Ollie Palmer got his goal. Ollie Palmer, he works his ass off. I'd say for a big unit, Ollie Palmer does work his ass off. And he got a lofted ball in from Andy Cannon, who's also playing really well, who stepped in and done really, really good. But Andy Cannon lofted the ball in. Palmer heads the ball. Keeper made a great save. I think his name is Joe Day. Joe Day made a great save. Deflected it out to Ollie Palmer, and he's on the spot. Bang, back of the net, 1-0. We're up. So that settles the nerves right off the bat. So, and I thought that goal was great. It's his 6th of the season. It's a great return for him. Johnny on the spot. He's really aggressive, and he wants to relish in those moments. Parkinson mentioned that in his oh, cat's making noise. Parkinson mentioned that in his interview afterwards, which is great. And let's talk about Andy Cannon, who put that ball in. He's got 2 and 2. Thought he's played really well. He probably should have drew a yellow card on the Yeovil Town, I think it was defender. I'm not sure who it was. It might have been the greatest name out there. No, it was Cooper. He should have got 2 yellow cards. Drew a foul on him early on, but Andy Cannon is playing really well, especially when he has Elliott Lee and Evans in there playing off of him. So that is probably our best midfield at this time right now. He's got 2 and 2. So he got his goal in the right before halftime in the 47th minute. So got his goal right before halftime. And here's what's great about that. That was the only Tozer thrower that we had in there. Tozer had the only long ball, throws it in, defender heads it away, comes down, Andy Cannon sets himself and just puts it in, bounces. Keeper gets a big hand on it, but goes in the back of the net. It's really calm finish. His awareness and his passing is fantastic. I think he's really doing well and stepping up. So I'm really impressed with Andy Cannon. I'm really impressed with that midfield. That midfield of Lee, Evans, and Cannon is really doing well. Although, like I said, and when Hayden went off, he had to come back, and James Jones went in that midfield. But Evans played really well, and Cannon doing his work in there is fantastic. So that's really positive going into this busy season. And we do have a game in 48 hours, so I'll talk about that too. Hayden went off with an injury. Parkinson mentioned in his interview afterwards, he hasn't talked to the medical staff yet, so there's no conversations yet. So we're going to see how that's going to play out. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Can't lose any more people at the back. I do think Boyle is great. If it means that Evans has to go in that back, I'd rather have Evans stay in the midfield, and I'd put Boyle back there with O'Connor and Tozer. But the team seems to be pretty. We have good depth. I just don't want to lose Evans in that midfield. So the Hayden injury is kind of up in the air at this point right now. That said, the Okonkwo injury is still up in the air. We're going to find out a little bit more tomorrow before the match, hopefully. Although on Tuesday, but he's definitely. Probably both those guys are going to play on Tuesday anyway, so it's not a problem. But Okonkwo and Hayden are the injuries we need to get some updates on. Parkinson, back to his interview, was talking about playing to the final whistle. Yes, and that's something that the team has done really well. Yes, we dropped points on the weekend last week, but then we did play to the final whistle. And I think we needed to do that because this was not an easy game. We wasn't like a full-fledged 2-0 we're up. We never felt comfortable. We were watching on the watch along, and thank you to everyone for coming on. Mike Stewart, Casey Guns, Andrew, who else was on there? Who else is on there? Just Fraz was on there. But anyway, anyone that came on, I appreciate. Thank you for the support. We're going to do a lot more. But yeah, it was not a comfortable game. We were up 2-0, but it never really felt like we were going to go and get 3 and 4. We didn't have a ton of chances. Yeovil Town did press us a little bit, and they did huff and puff, but it wasn't that comfortable win. We wanted to get that third win, and playing the third goal. Playing to that final whistle really set the tone. We made some changes at the end. Lee came off. Palmer and Mullen came off. And I would say, like, having Dalby come on and score that 93rd minute goal, which great, because Dalby is probably going to start on Tuesday night in the Bristol Street Rovers competition. Let me get that right. Against Burton Albion. So he's probably going to start. So build his confidence. He was talking after the match about, he saw the keeper go down, so he just finally chip it over the top. Great pass in by McLean to get him through, and great patience on Dalby to just have the wherewithal to just chip over the keeper, seals the deal. Wasn't a full comfortable win for us in regards to, like, yeah, we won 3-0, but it wasn't fully comfortable. It was a professional win. Professional win, we'll take it. We're going through. Listen to the hot take afterwards with Mark Griffith, and they talk about a professional performance as well. They mentioned that Howard made some great saves, and he did. And him coming in has a great set of hands going in there. Losing Okonkwo, not great. Howard at 37, 38 years old, whatever he is, probably not what we want for the rest of the season, but for him to deputize for Okonkwo, who hopefully isn't out for a long time, did great. We were patient. We rode our luck a bit, like I said, by the hitting the post, but it was a good performance overall, but it wasn't a comfortable performance. So hopefully we can go on a bit of a cup run. So this game we're going to put to bed. We're going to start up on Tuesday against Burton Albion in the Bristol Street Rovers competition. The cross-border derby will be in January. So let's put that aside. We're going to focus on the league, and we're going to focus on Tuesday night, which I think there'll be wholesale changes. I think that a lot of the guys on the bench, Hosanna, I think Osana will play. I think James Jones will start. Jordan Davies, Luke Young, Bickerstaff, Dalby, Boyle, Micheleden, and Nicholas. I think they'll all be in play on Tuesday night. And I think that's how it's going to go. And they're back in the league on Saturday on the 9th against Forest Green Rovers at the new Bolt Lawn. But let's take a look at Burton Albion for Tuesday night. So Burton Albion are in 17th place in League One. They have played 19 games. They won 5, drawn 5, lost 9, minus 11 goal diff. So, they're not scoring a ton of goals. They've lost 4 of their last 5 with a draw in there. They've got 20 points. It is a cup tie. They are a league ahead of us. They're solid. They're a solid solid side in League One. But, maybe he'll do a full 11 change. He might not. But I would see some of the guys on the bench to get into that starting lineup, and let's go for it. So, but today's a big win. Really enjoyed the watch along with everybody. Things are growing. Things are happening fast. The team is starting to cook. Don't like the injuries. Obviously, it's December 3rd, so the window is coming up. Maybe we're going to get a defender or a central midfielder. I want to see how Hosanna does on Tuesday night, but let's see how this goes. I think we're starting to get on our groove. It's a long season, and being in 3 competitions like this is not easy for a League Two side. So that is your Wrexham reaction, and it's Wrexham 3, Yeovil Town 0, FA Cup round 2. We are through. We have a cross-border derby next against Shrewsberry Town in January, and this was a great win for the side. Have a great Sunday. That is your Wrexham reaction. I'll see you on Tuesday.